So I've talked about creating your own business, minding your own business is what I've called it. And I talked about the tax advantages. This is in prior videos where with your own business, expenses come out first and then the taxes. Whereas if you're an employee, those are flipped. Taxes come out first and then the expenses. So, and there's a huge amount of power in that. So I want to talk again about creating a business and give some other reasons why. And some of what I'm going to say tonight may be controversial, but so be it. But the question is how do you, if you want to push forward and be a success, how do you generate the economic power required to make that happen? And I'm going to do a little bit of a fundamental analysis of how economic power is generated. And you might think, well, what's this got to do with me? Trust me, it has a lot to do. So I'm going to graph something, and in this graph, I'm going to plot opposites. On this one you have, and this is, I'm going to talk about economic systems in the world and how they operate. This one you have free agency or freedom. Well, what's the opposite of freedom or free agency? It's force. And we all know force is bad. I'm going to talk about it and show why it's bad, how that works. Okay, down here, and again we're talking economic systems of the world. You have competition on this side. Well, what's the opposite of competition? This way. Interestingly enough, the opposite of that is cooperation. Competition and cooperation are opposites. Now, if I were to segment this into 4 quadrants and then plot the economies of the world, what you'd find, of course, is USA is up here in this quadrant. Free agency, competition. The old Soviet Union is down here. Soviet Union. Forced cooperation. The state owns everything. You work where you're told. You live where you're told. You do what you're told. Forced cooperation. Centrally managed. Okay? Between this and this, history has already told us which one generates the greatest economic power. You know, Brezhnev back in the 60s said, he got up and he says, "We will bury you," talking about the Soviet Union versus the United States. And what he was convinced of in his own mind is that his economic system of government could generate greater economic power than ours. And of course, history has shown exactly the opposite. And why is that? Well, you have this point in the middle where everything down here is force. Everything up there is free agency. And what you find is the main reason why this outproduced that is because of the self-initiative that people take when they do this. That's the big key. That's the big difference. That's why it generates so much economic power in relation to that. Now, in the USA, I said, well, the USA is here. You know what? In reality, the USA is here.